What is good with y'all on YouTube? Y'all know the reaction on crack. We're coming back to back. We're coming back off of one of the greatest lag spikes of all time. It's to the point where I streamed for like an hour and 30 minutes. Only 30 minutes of that joint went through. So I don't know if y'all are getting those reactions because, you know what I'm saying, frame rate was all over the place. But, of course, when we come back, we gotta start strong. We go ahead and like the video, pre-fire that like. And we know it's GMF. We make sure those notices is enabled. You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be what the Omnitrix exposes about alien technology, right? Shout out to y'all for tapping in. I'm coming with a lot of energy because like we gotta bounce back. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna drop y'all a little gem that I dropped at the end of the last video. Make sure you're looking at the world, you're looking at it through clear glass. When you look at it through green tinted glasses, your green flags look like regular flags. What that means is you're unaware of the good things that you do and the good things that are happening to you. Due to that lack of like awareness, it leaves you thinking your life is worse than it actually is. Even though you're in green tinted glasses, you think everything good, but you're not seeing the real benefits that's coming to you. You look at things through rose tinted glasses, the red flags just light flags. So you falling for anything and you wonder why your life look red all around. So make sure when you live in your life, you keep your head up, you keep them eyes peered. You know what I'm saying? You handle business. Make sure y'all boys drink y'all some water. Ooh, almost dropped it. Get y'all some sunlight and get y'all some sleep, man. Which is the last one I need to get more of myself. I need to like start. You know what I'm saying? That's why I had to start this stream up immediately. Get into these reacts. I gotta get better with like not streaming longer than I need to, right? But yeah, shout out to GMF. We're just gonna get straight into the video. Talk to me.
The Omnitrix exposes alien technology. Of course, it's one of the most unique devices in all of fiction, but what it reveals about everything else is truly special. Before we can even begin to talk about what the watch itself exposes, we have to talk about what makes the Omnitrix so unique. Now, like many an iconic alien device, the watch itself was created by a hyper-intelligent race of aliens. To be more specific, Grey Frogs, my own race, which are known as Galvans. The sole creator of the watch is Azimuth the Great Thinker, who is easily the greatest scientific mind to ever live among his own race. He is a generational genius. Think of a Michael Jordan and a LeBron James rolled into one. The Omnitrix, however, is not a very common device among Galvans, which has pretty much
you know what I'm saying? That's Michael Jordan, you know what I'm saying? Michael Jordan
remained irreplicable until this very day, with the only person coming close being literally Azimuth's Galvan assistant. But as of its official creation, it is one of a kind in the universe. But it's not just one of a kind, in a sense where it's the only device that gives you transformation powers, since, you know, there are species in series who can shapeshift, but it is the highest grade of technological complexity in the universe. The way how we know this is because of the grading system in Ben 10, being 1 through 5, with 1 being basic stuff like hammers and hunting tools, and 5 being the Omnitrix, which is a DNA shifter device. But why would an elite frog genius make a one-of-a-kind alien tech like this? Well, Azimuth has had multiple canonical reasons for why he decided to make the watch in the first place, with the first being as a means of giving any species the ability of exploring the lifestyle of another. By becoming them, they would be able to metaphorically walk a mile in that alien's shoes. That is a pretty good reason, as it could influence a more understanding and unified universe, but his reasoning still wasn't just that simple, as one of the major factors that led to him creating the Omnitrix came from his first creation, which was the Sword of Ascalon. The Sword of Ascalon creates an amazing parallel to one J. Robert Oppenheimer, a genius who created the atomic bomb. You guys have watched that movie, right? Anyways, both weapons were greatly powerful, dangerous to society, with fictional Ascalon being a reality warping weapon that caused mass destruction. As a sort of apology for what he had done by—
To be honest though, the Omnitrix has a self-destruct feature that can blow up the universe, so like
creating Ascalon, Azimuth created the Omnitrix as an object of peace. Also, his girlfriend dumped him when he made Ascalon, so he did it to try and get back with her. The first ever Omnitrix that we got to see was the early model or the prototype version of the watch, and came with a starting—
Imagine you create a device that can lead to world destruction, your girl dump you, and then you can create the cure to like cancer or world hunger to try to get back, bro. Come on, bro.
Playlist of 10 aliens for the user to transform into. Now, this kind of technological marvel in itself was far above anything the universe had ever seen. Galvans had already been known for creating amazing, life-changing tech, but a piece like this was truly an enigma. And because of that, it was obviously very much sought after. This kind of brings us back to the obvious parallels between Azimuth and Oppenheimer, where we can see that just like the atomic bomb, the Omnitrix was not wanted for peace. As the watch itself could completely rewrite DNA into something brand new, I'm pretty sure anyone could see how much of a military powerhouse that could be.
An entire army, each in command of an Omnitrix, all at my command.
This kind of train of thought is what led the Omnitrix to end up on Earth in the first place, in the possession of a 10-year-old Ben Tennyson. Which, in retrospect, giving a 10-year-old a universally sought after device that makes the atomic bomb look like a child's plaything is not very wise. Throughout Ben's time with it, this crazy contraption has shown us many different things, but we have narrowed 3 major points that have been exposed about alien technology in fiction. And it starts with one of the core functions of the Omnitrix, which is biology. Now, a core feature of the watch is that it transforms the user into a completely different species. This essentially rewrites a user's DNA completely.
Yeah, we were talking about that. I was talking about that and like looking at some theories about like why there was like the timeout feature and like how when he turns back to human, he's actually like not just like reverting. It's retransforming his DNA. And because the Omnitrix transforms you to like the prime of the DNA, that's why Ben doesn't have like asthma or cancer or anything like that, and that's also why he looks like really like like Ben 10K. And it would like explain how a 10-year-old was able to have the mental fortitude to do it. It's not like I'm not giving credit to Ben, because having peak abilities, for example, like there's people like Metro Man. You can have peak abilities and still like not do anything, right? Courage is something that you can create, but I'm saying having the peak capabilities allowed him to like really utilize his willpower and those things that make you human to make a difference and to be the hero. Just my like hot take.
Makes them into a new being. I mean, duh, you already know that. This kind of biological transformation is literally impossible in today's human society. And even in other aspects of fiction, it is a really far-fetched concept. Yeah. Let's look at a pretty simple example though. Gray matter. Now, we start out with a regular 10-year-old kiddo. He selects the Galvan icon and undergoes the transformation. Now, at the end of it, he becomes gray matter, and there are a few major biological changes that have happened. Firstly, he's a lot smaller. He's gray with some froggish features, and his IQ and mental capacity have gone up more.
Another thing is, when we think about the Omnitrix, you immediately think of like the biological implications and why like, oh, you know what I'm saying, blah, blah, blah. But also just look at the basic rules of alchemy. You can't create something from nothing. It's equivalent exchange. There is no scientific way that we know of, because a lot of sci-fi is based off science, and you just throw a little face in there. Like, what if this worked? There is no scientific knowledge that we know of that breaks the conservation of energy. How did a 10-year-old boy's body size double when he becomes forearm, gain extra appendages? Where did all his muscle come from? Similarly here, how did he lose so much of his size? Where did that energy go? You feel me? The only reasonable explanation is maybe, you know, it uses the energy required to transform you to this other thing, smaller thing. Let's say this does make sense. Stores the rest of the energy in the watch. And then that does something to like, you know, saying your DNA to stimulate your intelligence. But then creatures like Diamond Head in the forearm don't make sense because their DNA are like nowhere near human, essentially. I mean, yes, they stand on 2 legs, but Diamond Head is literally a rock creature. Where did the energy come from to turn human skin into crystals? You feel me? So like scientifically it is super far-fetched, which is why in science fiction it was such a, like GMF said, such like an enigma and like such a one once in a lifetime, one of a kind.
More than 100 times. The Omnitrix itself has manipulated and transformed Ben's DNA, his biology, and even rearranged and compacted his matter into becoming a literal new creature. Now this seems like high-level alchemy or magic because even in-universe technology struggles to replicate this. But this is an important point of what alien technology can do with biology itself, and how they see biology in general. Let's make a few more parallels so you can see what I'm saying. Starting with a Green Lantern ring. The Lantern ring itself was created by the Guardians of the Universe. These are an immortal race of blue shortstocks whose main goal is to maintain peace in the universe. The Green Lantern ring comes with a bevy of superpowers, ranging from simple flight to creating freaking organs to keep yourself alive. And it is purely limited by the user's imagination. This kind of technology, yes, it's not magic, affects your biology in a few ways. Not only does it give you an ability to generate thrust in the vacuum of space, but it lets you breathe in space as well, and also underwater, with an enhanced durability and an automatic language translation, which is less biological, but it's pretty cool. A huge thing that it can do as well though for your biology is negate your basic needs like food and water. A similar thing happens with the Nova Core helmet or the tech jacket, where it will augment the biology of the user in order to give them more durability and survival power. The Blue Beetle Scarab does this as well, as it bonds with the host's nervous system and can create a psychic link between the scarab and the host's mind. This provides a crazy healing factor along with the typical durability augments, but it also provides potential biological enhancements through a thing called host reconfiguration. Ooh, big words. Now this is where it will be able to alter biology of the host at will. This was offered to the current Blue Beetle, Jamie Reyes, where the Scarab was trying to sell him on getting extra fingers. Pretty gnarly. This kind of biological alteration is child's play for alien technology, but it is also a great demonstration of how aliens view biology. But I think this would truly be best summed up using League of Legends. Now this game has more than 160 characters, which is
of Doom and Despair.
Crazy insane, but we will focus on one singular champion, which is Mordekaiser. This champion was initially designed on February 24th, 2010. As a mace-wielding necromancer with the nickname the Iron Revenant. Now initially he could revive dead foes with his ultimate move, which would bring neutral creatures to life like dragons, and also enemy players as well could be revived, with their champion being controlled by the AI of the game. However, after a few years, everything changed and he underwent a very critical rework in the game. On June 4th, 2019, everything changed, not only in his design, but in his fundamental theme as a champion and character. New voice lines, new backstory, and a brand new ability that didn't revive dead enemies, but brought people into his own isolated realm, sort of like a domain expansion. The way this relates to our main point of biological change is through programming. A programmer, even though it takes a lot of work, can rewrite code.
I was gonna skip that bit. But this is GMF. I've never heard him brand promo mid-vid. So you gotta hear him out.
Code of a video game character and make him a new thing. And I believe aliens have a similar thought process to biological augmentation, enhancements, and ultimate complete change. These major intergalactic forces and geniuses don't see biology the way we do, as a necessary, barely moldable part.
Yeah, we see, like he was just saying, we see biology as like unchangeable. You have this, accept it. They see it as like code or like script, where it's like, oh yeah, this is what you have, but it's like how we see building muscle from like hitting the gym, except a lot more meticulous. You know, targeting this muscle does this. I know targeting this gene does that. Let's just do it. It's not something they have to like, you feel me? Think about too heavy.
Of life. They see biology like code or software, and Ben embodies that perfectly, as Azimuth is able to take an unremarkable species like a human being and essentially rewrite his entire genetic code into becoming a universe recreating deity. This shows us that with the right inputs, even biology can be changed, just like Mordekaiser's entire transformation. Now a game like League of Legends has such a mass appeal, and luckily for us, alien technology has a similar mass appeal. Now, what do I mean by this? Obviously, everyone wants these legendary alien technology. I mean, duh. In Green Lantern, a guy literally poisoned his planet's only defense against anything intergalactic just so that he could have a chance at getting the ring. But what I'm talking about is the universal compatibility of these devices. The Omnitrix is a prime example of technology like this, as it has had quite a few different users across each series, most of them being future and alternative versions of Ben Tennyson. along with other humans that are around. The Omnitrix has been used by a few different species as well, with some of the most notable being Vilgax and Albedo. The fact also remains that it enables the user to transform into a lot of aliens, which also signifies a high level of compatibility as well, showing that many alien species that fulfill the criteria of being, sentient enough or sensible enough can use the watch. The Green Lantern ring also meets that criteria of being very species friendly. We get to see that with the great variety of Green Lanterns that make up the core itself. Varied species from different edges of the universe have access to the power and potential of the ring, and once they have been chosen, the features work like a charm. Like the compatible nature of the ring,
I think I was between shape and size.
goes so far that there are even squirrels that are lanterns, cats that are lanterns. There's even a planet that's a Green Lantern. Crazy stuff, I know. This sort of universal compatibility is really well exemplified in this green face mask as well. Now, if you haven't watched the 1994 movie The Mask, then you're missing out. Dude, it has Jim Carrey in it. And this wooden face mask. That is insanely powerful. The mask itself isn't really alien technology, but more of an ancient mythical shiesty. Is a shiesty a good word for that? Anyway, it gives the user basically a Toon Force ability like Bugs Bunny or Gear 5th Luffy, where you are able to literally do anything. This object, once placed on the user, can draw out your inner jokester and battle-hardened clown, and it has no limit on who it does this to. Man or even dog. I mean, it goes as far as to augment sperm. It's kind of crazy. This kind of compatibility is opposed to regular human technology that in many cases need to be personalized, like prosthetic limbs, most forms of clothing, and even Formula 1 cars require unique adjustments. But alien technology transcends species limits. An important thing to note about alien technology is that they do in fact have their own limitations. Now, limitations aren't just an important thing for the narrative aspects of alien tech, but limitations are also an important aspect of designing technology in general. It creates a more focused and more efficient approach whenever things are being made, especially in programming, as setting limits can make creation even easier, instead of getting caught in the realm of trying to do everything, pretty much lost in the sauce at that point. This applies to alien tech as well, with the obvious Omnitrix limitations being like the timeout function and having master control being locked away, which are some of the biggest lockouts and limits of the Omnitrix. I've talked about the Green Lantern ring quite a bit, so let's tap into another relatively common piece of alien tech, which is the Blue Beetle Scarab. This is a really powerful machine that merges with the host and gives them armor and an alien co-pilot in their head, which is the voice of the Scarab. The armor not only enhances durability, but it can create an arsenal of weapons out of basically anything known to man or alien in weaponry. Even though the purpose of this is to create sleeper agents for the Reach, which are the guys who created the Scarab in the first place, it still has crazy feats, as it has been able to solo quite a few very powerful hero partners like Wonder Girl and Miss Martian, and even other Scarabs. I think it even soloed a speedster, like Impulse or something, so there's no playing around. As strong as the machinery is though, it has its limits, just like any other major piece of technology, with its major weakness being magic. Prime examples of this being like when Zatanna removed it in Young Justice. These limits are necessary for the progression of alien technology, and no one really wants limitless powers. That kind of sucks for a good show. Another alien tech that balances these,
because this tech we confuse as like power, like superpowers, is tech, which means it is rooted in numbers. And like if we had the same level of understanding as they did, we'd be able to create it ourselves. Which is why magic, something that isn't based off like the understanding and transcends that, is the like hard counter to it.
Limits well though is the Ultralink and Max pairing in Max Steel. Now, an Ultralink is a parasitic sentient alien robot that are technological creatures that need a host of sorts to bond with in order to realize their full potential. Max and his Ultralink Steel form a duo where the Ultralink bonds with the human and gives them transformation themed powers and a cool blue suit. I really like that show. Should I give this show a video by itself? Yes. Comment down below. There are many of these creatures around in the show that also serve as antagonists, and they have merged with many powerful hosts like metal, fire, and even the wind itself, which is incredible. I mean, how do you merge with the wind? But anyways, a major limitation though is that they can only merge once, which stops them from having the advantage of Max Steel, who even though they can merge and unmerge, they have a variety of powers. Anyways, these kinds of limitations are what ground alien technology, and make their power even more tantalizing, as the trade-offs of what it can't do are greatly overshadowed by what it can do. But that's just what this government saw the Omnitrix expose in alien technology.
Hey.
Thanks for watching.
Elite ball knowledge, bro. Shout out GMF. A great video as always. Hold on. We tapping in. I'm typing in all caps as if it's like a YouTube title. Would be amazing. Let me also add a great video. My guy. Alright. Shout out to y'all, man. We're staying tapped in. Shout out to Discord kind of helping us reach affiliate. Discord community is linked down in the description. You'll be notified every time I post a video, which is twice daily, and every time I go live. Make sure y'all tap in with there. As always, you know what time to find me tomorrow. Peace.